My name is Nick Robertson. I am speaking as one multimedia student to another. I say this because I believe the art of broadcasting and journalism is always changing. As journalists, it is our job to stay ahead of innovation. With my skills and experiences that I have showcased on this resume reel, I'll be able to help you stand at the forefront of the industry. In my reel, I've included many examples of my work, including 3 news packages, a live shot, and interviews. At the bottom of the screen is my contact information. I thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy. And even with this positive upswing, the economy is still dark and scary for prospective, current, and recently graduated students. Iowa lawmakers are in a scramble to work out a deal that both the Iowa legislature and the governor's office can both agree on. They find themselves with 21 days to come up with a plan to place $3 million into the state's workforce development programs. Governor Branstad originally vetoed the budget that put $3 million towards keeping workforce development offices open. Instead, he went on to take the money and put it towards kiosks that aided the unemployed. The state Democrats filed for a lawsuit which ended in their favor. They find themselves once more without a finished budget. Iowa Democrats believe they have the money and ability to continue funding the offices and think the offices are the best way to continue lowering unemployment.
That is more money in the state treasury, in our savings accounts, than ever in the history of the state. And to suggest we can't come up with $4 or $5 million to open a few workforce development offices is absurd.
Even though Democrats feel like the governor's actions were a little foolish, Republicans and the governor's office feel as though that move was necessary to lower unemployment.
At the time, it seemed like the right thing to do. You have to remember we're in a very significant budget crisis, so he did what he thought was prudent.
Workforce development offices that were shut down, we've actually doubled their capacity and what was actually occurring there. So
even though both sides agree that they need to work in bipartisanship, either side is willing to budge in their stances. I'm Nick Robertson, reporting from the state capitol, Daily Iowan Television. A quiet observer, a motivator.
Let's go, buddy.
An unwavering support structure. These are some of the qualities that all student-athletes' parents try to have. Del Marion is no exception. He is the father of Iowa senior wrestler Montel Marion and enjoys the role that he plays.
It is tough being a wrestling parent, but it's no feeling like anything else in the world.
After 4 successful seasons, 2 of which he saw his son become an All-American, Del Marion says he knows what part he has to play to help his son the most.
This is his last go-around, and I'm going to remove myself because he needs to win the whole thing, and I don't need to get in his way.
With college wrestling being one of the most mentally tough sports any athlete can compete in, not to mention raucous crowds filling arenas to try and taunt you and get in your head, that doesn't bother Del Marion as long as they don't cross the line.
I don't mind as long as they're not personal attacks.
Marion says even with a lot of negativity aimed at kids, he has experienced just as much support.
I was talking to a customer, and when she found out that my son was Montel, she started crying. Her and her son are big Montel fans, and they have this huge picture of Montel that they personally had taken, and I had them mail it to me so I could have my son autograph it.
And even when things don't go as planned for Montel, love and encouragement will always be unconditional.
I'm proud of him, no matter what. Even though he might not want to hear it, I'm going to tell him anyway.
Nick Robertson, Daily Iowan Television.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. Oh, boy.
If someone was walking around the University of Iowa campus, chances are they have passed this brick building. However, not many people know what is inside. It's a fitness center. Much like this one across campus, which is pretty hard to miss. It's the University of Iowa Recreation and Wellness Center, the 20,000 square foot multi-million-dollar complex that was finished before the 2010 fall semester began. The RWC has a jogging track and 3 stories worth of state-of-the-art weightlifting and cardio equipment available, along with 4 different locker rooms and a smoothie bar. With so many benefits, there is one thing that the RWC isn't short of: people. Now let's go back to the other fitness center. Fitness East, which at one point was the women's gym, has now been converted to a complete workout center. Fitness East has cardio equipment, free weights, and lifting machines just like the RWC. It even has 2 locker rooms with open lockers for rent. And despite not having an Olympic-sized pool and diving area, along with a $1 million rock wall, some say that Fitness East has just as many advantages.
I hardly ever have to wait for anything, whereas at the rec, if you're trying to lift weights, it's really difficult sometimes.
Alex Dacus, who works out at the RWC, doesn't feel like the crowds at the rec are an issue, and the quality of equipment make up for the large number of people.
Like, I don't usually do any of the machines, especially the treadmills are really nice here compared to Fitness East.
But just like workouts, it's all up to personal preference. Nick Robertson, Daily Iowan TV.